Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us today for our Innovate and Advance series where we have the amazing Jothi Moorthy join us. Um, like always, we'll just get started off with a quick introduction. Yuvika will make the introduction to Jothi, and then Jothi will um, talk to us about all the amazing things that she has done and has been doing for about 35 minutes, and then we'll round it off with a Q&A. So during the duration of the presentation, if you can please be on mute, we'd appreciate that. And with that, I will hand it over to Yuvika. Thanks, Yuvika.
Thank you so much, Padmini. Woohoo! So super excited to have our amazing guest, and we'll be learning from her. So Jothi Moorthy definitely needs no introduction if you are on LinkedIn all the time and she makes all the posts, but she wears multiple hats. So she leads the AI transformation at IBM and has become one of the most influential voices in AI education today. She's recognized as Favicon's top 30 AI education creators in the US as she reaches over 270,000 professionals across platforms, help them navigate one of the biggest shifts we are seeing right now, which is a move towards agentic life. What stands out about Jothi is her ability to make complex ideas practical as well as actionable. And through her LinkedIn newsletter, which we highly recommend that you subscribe to, it's called Agentic AI News Use Cases, and her podcast, Generative AI Revolution, she breaks down what's happening and, more importantly, what it means for all of us, right? She is also a keynote speaker. I'm not surprised. She's also a patent holder, and she serves on the GSTC advisory board and also publishes Women in Tech Chronicles, all while continuing to push the boundaries of how we can learn and apply AI. And today's session is extremely exciting, and I'm actually going to be diligently taking notes, even though we have a recording going on, and it's actually going to be drawn from her upcoming book, Become 10x with AI. So with that, please join me in welcoming Jothi Moorthy. Jothi, the stage is yours. Thanks so much for coming.
All right. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I appreciate it. I'm like, is that all me? But yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I mean, one of the key things about how I have been able to accomplish all of that is because of AI, right? Without AI, I could not have, created the podcast, the magazines, all the content that I write for LinkedIn. So all of this has only been possible because I use AI. So today, what I'm actually going to show you is, maybe let me start by sharing my screen here. Let me see if hopefully I can share my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep, we can see it.
Yep, we can.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So so like I said, so what I'm going to show you is just some things that I've been working on in the last, say, couple months. I'm going to be breaking up this presentation into 3 parts. My mouse is acting up a little bit here. So I'm going to be breaking this up into 3 different parts. So one is I'm going to show you how I actually built my website. So I actually built a website just by using Claude Code, but I did not write a single line of code. Like, it was all just, the whole thing was built with me just talking to Claude Code. And then the second thing I wanted to show you is I wanted to just show you my command center. So I had like built a command center. Basically, it tells me when I come to the command center and say, hey, I have, a couple hours today, what are my priorities? What can I work on? Because I have like so many different things going on. So that is what I was going to show you. But then just in the last week or so, Claude actually released something called Claude Live Artifacts. So it basically takes the static HTML page, and then it actually feeds it with live data, right? I'm going to show you that as well. It's actually pretty cool. And another thing that also just came out was Claude Design. So I created this presentation deck using Claude design. So I'm going to show you that as well. So hopefully this is all just hands-on. I'm not just, giving you a lecture, and you guys are able to like take this and build something as well. Okay. So, yeah, so like I said, these are the three things that I'm going to show you. And one thing you'll see across all of this is that I have a specific brand color, brand asset. It's actually used across all of it. So this is this is the Claude design presentation that I'm using for this presentation. If I go here to my Claude Cowork, you will see that this is one of my dashboards that I'm going to show you as well. It has the same design. And then if I go to my website here, my website kind of uses the same color palette, right? So everything is in one place. I'm not having like Claude knows about me. It knows about my brand assets. It knows how I think. So everything is in one place. So for each of these different assets, I'm not having to go back and repeat myself over and over again. So that's one key thing that I'm going to show you today. All right. And so let me go over to the next slide here. Okay. All right, so actually, yeah, okay, I skipped this one. Let me go to this slide here. So this slide again shows you like those three different things that I'm going to demo today. But what I really wanted to call out was the website that I built. It would have in the past without AI, without having AI that actually writes code for you. Apparently, you would spend anything between 20K to 50K just to build out a website if you were to outsource it to someone else, and then it takes you like 3 to 6 months. And anytime you need a change, you obviously have to like go back to the people that actually built the website. But what I'm going to show you is I basically have a $200 Claude subscription. I mean, even that I tried to see if the $100 one would work for me, but we all know like how much how quickly Claude actually goes through the tokens. So 200 is what's working for me. But if you really think about the value I'm getting out of this just $200 subscription a month, I was able to build this website just in the last couple of months. It's helped me write my book, which I'll talk about a little bit later on. And everything I do, I pretty much do in Claude now, because it's kind of like my brain center. It has everything that I normally don't. I used to use ChatGPT, but I don't do that anymore as much, because I feel Claude is 10 times more smarter, right? So everything is in Claude. So that is what I wanted to highlight there. Okay, and then so let me start with the website. So what was the reason why I wanted to create my website, or what would be a reason that you would want to create your website as well, right? So like I have Instagram, I have most of my professional my biggest professional platform obviously is LinkedIn. So I have LinkedIn, I have Instagram, I have a Facebook page, I have newsletter that's published out of Kit. I have a podcast, I have a magazine, I have a book coming. I had like so many things. I tried Linktree, I tried a lot of different things. I also actually tried to create a site on Topmate, and then also on Kit. Like it just wasn't doing it, right? So I think recently there was a challenge to build something out with Lovable. So I actually signed up for Lovable, and I wanted to build it out in Lovable. But even with Lovable, I ran into a lot of constraints, because it has a specific, framework and branding. There's limitations. And then at the same time, I actually came across this YouTube video where this person was talking about how he just used Claude Code to like take another website and then just have Claude recreate that website, right? And then it practically did that in 30 minutes. So I was like, okay, maybe I should try this out. So that's how I ended up here. So what I'm going to show you is how it's actually set up. So basically, the code lives on my local machine. So if I go back here into my VS Code, you can see actually this is my code. Again, I did not write a single line of this code, right? So if you are a non-tech person, if I opened up something for you in VS Code, it might seem pretty daunting and overwhelming, but like I said, I did not write a single line of this code. So basically all I did was opened up a Cloud Code interface, a Cloud Code terminal, and then just started chatting with it, right? But since then, we also have Claude has also introduced Claude Code within their AI. So if the terminal is intimidating, you can like just use Claude Code in the UI, right? But basically, I'm just in the UI here. And then you have to obviously you have to get Claude installed on your terminal. But once you have it installed, you're like basically just talking to it. Here you can see like right before this presentation, I needed to make sure that my server was up and running. So all I'm saying is like, hey, just start my server, right? So it knows exactly what it needs to do to like start up the server. So yeah, so all of my code is on my local machine, and then I just have a personal GitHub, and all I said was, hey, can you like check in my code into GitHub, and then it just brings up a page to authenticate into GitHub, and then it automatically links it to GitHub. So if you're like confused about, hey, is it like when you're pushing code to GitHub, is it a push? Is it a pull? Like sometimes it's very confusing, right? So here all you do is, hey, like just, I'm ready to commit my code. So what I would do is I'm on my local here. And so you can see here is my local host. Anything that I'm testing, I just test it out on my local host here. And then I say I'm ready to push to GitHub. And at that point, what it's going to do is it's going to push the code to GitHub, and my domain was actually resides on Cloudflare. So I purchased my own domain called jothimurthy.com, and was actually already purchased on Cloudflare. And when I was setting this up, basically I said, I have Cloudflare. That's where my domain is. And so it kind of like knew that this auto publish process was available in Cloudflare. So the minute I published to GitHub Cloud. So it actually walked me through step by step on how to get it set up on Cloudflare. So the minute I say commit and ready to push to live, it would actually push it to GitHub, and then Cloudflare would like come and pull the latest greatest code, and then it would just show up on my website. Right, so it's a fairly straightforward setup. I'll pause and I'll see if anyone has any questions before I move forward. No questions?
Well, Jothi, do you make the GitHub private, or do you make it
No, this is private.
okay.
Yeah. It's my private GitHub, and also it actually when I was setting up GitHub, it kind of like told me I have to like be careful that I don't have any passwords,
Right.
anything sensitive in there. So it actually went through all of my code to check to make sure that there wasn't any sensitive information, right? Not just even sensitive information. If there was something that was not being used for the website, it did not want it to live on GitHub, so it actually put it under a git ignore subfolder. So
Yep.
none of that got pushed into GitHub.
Yeah, and you don't have to use GitHub Actions or anything. It's just real simple, right? You can
Yeah,
just
I didn't have to do
yeah.
anything.
Okay.
Yeah, all I said was like once I was done testing it on my local, all I said was, hey, and now I'm like ready to push it to GitHub. And then it just kind of like walked me through. All I had to do was do the authentication and authorize my GitHub account.
Right. Okay.
All right. So what I'm actually going to show you right now is how easy it is to, yeah. So while I go through the rest of the slides, actually, let me do this. I'm going to come here. And so because it's like so easy to update my webpage, I kind of like use my webpage as my calendar sometimes. So if you look at my speaking page here, like I have a lot of speaking engagements, and kind of it's hard for me to like keep track of what's going on. And it's also a way for me to like have all of my assets in here, right? So you can see my image is not loading properly here, but yeah. So basically you can see like today was the this event here. It's like saying it's like coming up. So all I have to do is go back in here, and then I'm just going to, sorry, copy this prompt here. Oops. And then I'm just going to come into my terminal and I'm saying, okay, so this event is done. So you can move it from upcoming to recent events, right? So I'm going to push that. So it's actually going to, write the code, make those changes to my local. It'll give me, like right now I'm saying like just push it to live because I know it's not a big change, but usually I would test it on my local and then I would ask it to push it to live. So while it's doing that, I'm going to come back in here and talk about the sort of the process of setting this up. So to start with, there are like three simple files that it actually created based on just my conversations with it. So if I come into my VS Code here, you can see, sorry. Yeah, so you can see I have claude.md file. And in this claude.md file, it just has some instructions for it to follow while it's building out my pages. So one of the key things is that there is a front-end design skill. So I don't necessarily have to tell it, build this website. Like for this hero image, I want this with this image here. I want the buttons here. I don't have to say any of that. So what it does is that it invokes the front-end design. It's a skill, and then it will use that skill. And based on what I'm telling it, if I said, okay, create my homepage, and I would give some information on, what I would want in the homepage, and it would save all of that in this content.md file. Let me go preview this. Yeah. So it saves all of my information here, right? So it kind of like knows everything about me. So it's going to use all of this information to build out the different pages. So again, coming back here. Yeah, so it builds out the claude.md. It knows to always invoke the design skill. And then all of my brand assets, like my logos, my color palette, everything is actually saved in an assets folder called brand assets. So it's always going to refer to that. So that's how like every single page has the same look and feel, right? And if I add more guidelines to it or rules to it, it's just going to keep track of it. So I don't have to like repeat myself every time. And then any images that I wanted to create, I just drop it into this site images folder. And then it can actually like, look at the images and even know what the image is. And then in some cases, it'll actually decide whether, so for example, on my about page, I just said, add a couple of images, and it actually goes and picks out the right images. It can crop the images based on the design it's come up with. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. So if I come to my about page here, it actually came up with this specific design, and it knew exactly where to crop these images, right? So I didn't have to like tell it any of this. So it can actually just look at the images, and it knows exactly where where you are in the frame, and it knows to do all of that. I didn't really have to like give it much instruction. So let me come back
Jyoti,
here.
did it create the images for you or?
No. These are actually images that had professionally taken with the photographer.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I just dropped that into, yeah, it would be nice if it created the images too. Yeah, but Claude is not the best at creating images yet. But yeah, those were actually professional pictures that I had taken with the photographer. So I just dropped it into the site images, and then it knew to pick those up. Yeah, so it's actually like, it's like so smart, it's kind of scary sometimes, right? Yeah, so then it's basically building everything on my local server. So the other thing is also that you can ask it to, like, once it builds builds your page, you can ask it to like take a screenshot of the page, and then so you can look to see if the page looks, if it looks right, everything is being aligned properly. So it actually downloads some libraries like Puppeteer, and what it will do is like you can actually see a whole bunch of images here. Where is it? My public. Yeah. So it actually takes a bunch of screenshots, temporary screenshots. Yeah, and I can see that folder right now. But yeah, so as it's building the website, it'll go take screenshots of the website on its own, and then it'll keep going back and iterating over it until it knows that it's meeting my brand guidelines. So it does that. Yeah. So again, yeah. So
Jyoti, Sai has a question for you.
yes, yes.
Yeah, so Jyoti, sorry to interrupt. I thought this question would be right at the moment. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason I asked. Because I experiment Claude on the similar scale, but
Mm-hmm.
I do experiment for a lot of e-learning design, like micro-learning and also internal communication design
Mm-hmm.
and create workflows or automations.
Mm-hmm.
So with that perspective, I see that now you have placed certain kind of guidelines to it. So I am thinking you would have placed skills, instructions in the skills so that it follows in the Claude code.
Mm-hmm.
And so have you experimented in terms of WCAG guidelines or contrast checkers, the visual guidelines that UI or UX that we need to usually for the websites? Because that's where I feel like, Claude is failing a bit. It says that, yes, I mean, when I give a prompt, like you need to go through the WCAG accessibility guidelines,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
contrast color checker guidelines, or the JSON schemas as per SEO for any websites. It says it does. I have done the checklist, and if you go to the manual code, it wouldn't have really done it. So I face a lot of issues over there. Like, have you experimented that part of it, or like?
Yeah, so yeah, from in terms of accessibility, it'll actually try and implement certain guidelines. If you tell it what those specific guidelines are, it will. Do you have a system where it's like taking a screenshot of the site, so it's actually able to like look at it itself first and then make those revisions before it comes back to you?
Yeah, I think I was not able to execute it to that level, but I could get to the recent guidelines that we see across the websites and ask Claude to refer to the guidelines and revise code accordingly, or give the list of changes to revise the code.
Mm-hmm.
It says like this is, I mean, it drills down the list very well,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't see it implementing the iterative changes needed. Most of the time, it fails the response in terms of responsiveness required.
Yeah, so it might be because it's not able to like see its work, right? So that's where
Okay.
the looping screenshot is really important.
Yeah, maybe
Uh,
screenshot is something I need to try.
yeah.
But how do you manage like if you scale our websites, the
Mm-hmm.
pages are going to be so much branched, and like have you asked it to review through videos or something like that?
When you say review through videos, can you
I
open that?
mean, maybe take a screenshot or screen recording of the complete website and ask.
Yeah, so that's what it does, right? With the
Yeah,
Puppeteer, it
yeah.
actually let me see if I can find there's yeah, so it actually goes through and it takes screenshots. I think it's under, it actually takes a ton of screenshots. So it actually, I'll have to, yeah, so here it is, right? So you can see it's just taken a ton of screenshots here. So every time I'm building, um, let's say, let me open this up, right? So you can see that it's actually taking a
Oh,
screenshot of
okay.
the whole page, and then it goes through the whole page and it like reviews its work.
Hmm. Okay.
That's
Yeah,
right. Because with
I get.
yeah, because with just the code, it might not know like what the when it's implementing the code, it might not know what it visually looks like. That's where the looping screenshot really helps, right? So it's going to loop through and it's going to take a bunch of screenshots. It's going to make sure it's the website actually adheres to either those guidelines or your brand guidelines that you've given it.
Yeah, I'll try this route. This will help. Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I think it actually it knows what Python packages that it needs to download. I believe for my setup, it downloaded something called Puppeteer. You might want to take make a note of that. Yeah, so it just
Yeah.
downloads the right libraries to actually go through the looping screenshot, which I found was really helpful.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay. Yeah, so I'll actually I may not have time to like go through all of these slides. I will share this after this presentation, but here's basically sort of the list of prompts that I used to obviously it's not every single prompt, right? But like those most important basic prompts that I've used for it to build out the website, right? So first thing I'm saying, I wanted to make sure that it's using the front end design skill before I start. And then I just give it some information. Hey, I'm like building a personal brand website. You know, this many pages. I want a speaker page. I want a book page. I just give it a very high level wireframe of what I want. And then and the important thing here is like I wanted to make sure this was like something very simple and easy for me to maintain. So I asked it to come up with like the most simplest approach that I could just implement over the weekend. So that's where it came up with the stack where I'm just pushing to GitHub and then Cloudflare actually basically just picks it up, right? So you have to kind of like tell it what your requirements. If you want it to be something more complicated, I'm sure it can do that as well. Okay. Yeah, so then like yeah, so one of the things that I basically did, I had it look through other websites to like other big name brand websites. I didn't even like name who those creators are. I basically said, can you go look at some other bring big name brand big name creators and look at what their website looks like and take some design ideas from there, right? So that's what it did. It actually went through a list of different websites and it showed me actual direct links to the website for me to see what it looked like. And based on that, it actually came up with those designs. And there's in Cloud Code, you can actually, if you want to like replicate a website 100%, it can do that as well. Obviously, I didn't want to do that. I just wanted it to take inspiration from other websites. So it was able to do that. Yeah, so then creating the Claude.md, the content MD file, everything it did. I did not have to write anything or build any of those files. And then let's see. Yeah, and then the most important thing is obviously I have to like go through and give it some feedback, right? Like even though I mean it's not always going to 100% give you what you want. So you just basically just talk to it and give it feedback in natural language. You're like, okay, I want my hero image to be larger. I wanted to want it in all caps or whatever your requirement is, right? You just keep iterating through it. And then this is where I found it was pretty amazing is obviously I'm not a web designer, right? I've been in IT, but not necessarily a web designer. So I really don't know, what it takes to actually build out a website. Right. So I asked her to come up with an audit prompt and say, hey, if I wanted to make this a production website, what should be in this code, right? So then it just came up with a list of things like SEO, Open Graph, sitemaps, to create a robots.txt to make sure only certain websites can, or, like LLMs can access my website, accessibility, and then it basically said you need a privacy page, and then it created the privacy page, added the privacy page to the footer in my website. So it does all of that, right? So I did not necessarily know that I needed to implement all of this stuff. So that's where Claude actually comes in and tells you if there are any gaps that you need to fill in. And then once I had my website built to a certain extent, I did not want it to like, sometimes you kind of have to be careful because you might ask it to like make one small change and it might make multiple changes. So once my website was live, I would have it just make changes to my my local host, I would like come in here, check to make sure that everything is the way I want it to be. And then I would say, all I would say is like push to live, right? So then it commits to GitHub and then Cloudflare picks it up. So let's see if the changes that we asked for, if it was just made. Okay, so you can see today's event actually moved from coming up to recent events. Looks like there's an issue with the image here. But yeah, so basically you can see that I just gave it like one line and then it's made the changes to the website. So I probably have to come fix the images before I push it to live, but um, that was that. All right. And then the other thing I figured out quite late in the process was I was testing everything on my website and I mean on my desktop, and everything looked great on my desktop, but when I opened up my mobile phone, like all of the designs were like really messed up. It actually looked pretty bad. So then I had to like come back and ask it to like build sort of a system that it can test both mobile and desktop versions, and make any changes to make sure it adapts to both. So actually I can come here and show you a really quick okay, so this is Chrome. Yeah, so you can see it'll so even I can come here and say, okay, I'm like, how does it look on mobile versus desktop, right? So it's a really quick shortcut key in Chrome that you can do that yourself as well. But Claude will also go through and check to make sure that it adapts to both mobile, desktop, iPad, whatever that I think like there are a few standards that it checks against. All right, so I think I already did that. All right, so any questions before I move on to the next one? No questions? Did I put you all to sleep?
Not at all. The ticker on your website, did that also come up as you?
Yeah, it actually came up with the ticker itself. I don't think I even
Oh,
asked
okay,
for
okay.
I don't think I even asked for the ticker. It just came up. I think it looked at another website and then it just came up with it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing, Jyoti. I think nobody is asleep. People are just wondering, oh my God.
Actually, it looks complicated, but it's like once you have it set up, it's actually pretty easy.
Right, and Jothi, how often do you update your Markdown files? Because you don't have to ever create a new Markdown file or update the old one, right?
No, all I do is I just come back in here, and anytime I need a change to the website, I just, give natural language instruction to Claude, and then it takes care of it.
Right. Okay.
All right, so who's gonna build out a website after this?
Oh, I don't know if I need 10 pages though. Like most
Yeah,
people,
well, you can just
you
start
know,
with
right. Most people start with a landing page and
Yeah,
expand there, so
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, this is amazing, Jyoti.
Oh, thank
Fabulous.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
this is amazing. And I'm thinking that, I was thinking about updating our corporate website.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Now you can do it yourself.
yeah,
Actually, I think
exactly.
what a lot of people are doing is they are building out like these websites and selling it to like local businesses for like 5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand, like something you can build easily over a weekend.
Yeah, I
New
think,
business
Absolutely.
line, Shoma.
sorry, sorry.
I was like, I was like another business line.
Yeah.
No, I mean, otherwise, when we work with an agency, there is so much on back and
Mhm.
forth which happens to explain to them what you actually
Yeah,
want versus what
exactly.
you get.
Yeah. Like here you just keep talking to Claude until you get it exactly the way you want, and then you saw it was just one click of the button, and it made the changes.
That's your agency on your computer now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right,
Thank
looks
you so
like
much.
Ziba has a question.
Yes. Hi. So I was experimenting with Lovable and Cloud Code, so I was able to build my own like personal website slash
Mm-hmm.
blog website.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I have been wondering is how to come up with like my personal colors, my personal vision of
Mm-hmm.
how it should look like. Like I know you have like a very selective color palette and things,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just curious how you came up with your version and your idea and design of this website. Because I built my website and it has like a generic colors. I would say like I
Yeah.
had like a pastel thing going on, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
just curious how you came up with your color palette and design.
Yeah, it's kind of evolved over time. Actually started with I think like red and gray was my color palette, which I still have for my magazine, right? And then and then it went purple, like purple and orange, and then recently I'm like, ah, I don't think I really like purple and orange. So then I actually had it. Let's see. So you can see all of the, this is actually an image. I wanted something that looked a little, not very flat, something that looked a little polished. So this is an actual image that I downloaded. I don't remember from where. And then I gave it this image, right? So you kind of like, your brand colors actually kind of evolve over time. Like it's not like when once you start something, you're stuck with it, right? So that's the other advantage of you being able to like build your own website, is that you change your mind, your likes and dislikes change over a period of time, right? So when you don't like the existing color palette, you just go tell Claude, it's like just in one place, and then it makes the change to the entire website.
Perfect. Yeah, I think I've been on the of the notion that, oh, if I have to be very careful when I choose a color because it's gonna stick. So I think
Yeah.
I've been overthinking that part for a very
No,
long
yeah,
time.
yeah,
But this is
yeah.
a
It's
relief to hear
I've
that
gone
I
through
can
like,
change my mind in that.
yeah, I've gone through 3, 4 iterations. Actually, this has been my color in the last few weeks, I think, because I had a slightly different color.
Perfect. Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. I don't know how we're doing on time. How much more time do you think I have, Padmini and Utvika?
I think so. We
We
are at
have
8:50.
Sorry, I didn't
How
hear
much
you.
stuff do you have to cover? Do you have a lot?
I mean, it depends on how much time I have. You tell me, I can
I
breeze
mean,
through.
technically we have 15 minutes. I mean, well, yeah, between 15 and 17 minutes, but
Okay.
I'm sure people want to see more, but if you can
Yeah,
just
I can kind of breeze through this. All right. So the next thing I wanted to show you was the command center, right? So like I said, it was probably a week ago that Claude introduced Claude. I mean, we always had Claude artifacts, but now it's called Claude Live Artifacts because it can actually pull from live tools. So what I'm going to show you is basically within Claude Cowork, I have a set of dashboards, and those dashboards are connected to a number of tools through MCP, like ClickUp, Gmail, my Google Calendar, Notion, Canva, every tool that I have it connected through MCP. But one thing is like you kind of have to be a bit careful. Like I went all out when I first set up Claude Cowork with all of my different tools, and then I realized like Claude Cowork was just eating through my tokens like crazy. And it was because every time I was asking something, every conversation, it would have to like go pull data from all of the different tools, and go through all of the previous conversations. So it was like eating up through the token. So right now I don't use Claude Cowork as much, but I think like right now because the dashboards have come out, I probably will just use it for that purpose. But then I usually just use Claude Code in the terminal, or now you have Claude Code within the UI as well. So it's almost just like you chat with it, right? Okay. So so let's see, come back to Claude Cowork here. So I'm on my Mac. So you can see, you can toggle between Claude Code and then Claude Cowork. And so what I did was, you can see I have some dashboards here. So this dashboard, like behind the scenes, it's pulling up all of my the different tools that I talked about. So the basic concept for me behind this command center is, like I said, I have a lot of projects going on. So it's always hard for me to know like what's that next thing that I need to work on. Like, so say for example, I have a couple hours. I want to know what can I just finish in those couple hours, right? So that's what the command center was initially built for. but then the dashboard came, so I just converted that into a dashboard. So I can just look through the dashboard. I know all of the different things that I'm working on. I can click on each of them, and then it like pulls for that specific work stream. It goes and pulls my emails, anything that I need to respond to. So everything is in one page, right? So it does the same thing with my inbox. You can see it's actually loading because it's actually going to read my Gmail. It's going through all of my tools and it's pulling all of the latest, greatest information. But one thing I found really interesting was I actually built a Claude features tracker because we all know that Claude comes out with a feature every week, and it's like hard to know, what features came out, what's actually relevant to you, right? Like obviously there are a lot of features that come out, but what actually is relevant to you? So this one actually has sort of so this dashboard kind of like tells me when I come here, it's like, okay, so these are the different features that came out, and it'll also make a recommendation towards the end on yeah, actually throughout this whole thing it'll tell me for each of the different projects that I'm working on, like which Claude feature I should probably implement, right? And then it'll also tell me like how long it might take me to implement that. And I think I had an executive summary here that basically says if you have like a couple hours, I would it actually gives me a recommendation on these are the different Claude features you should probably check out, right? So I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah, so I have like different dashboards. You can also see I'm not going to go through my subscriptions, but that was also pretty interesting. It just pulls all of the different subscriptions I have, and then it'll make recommendations on which ones I should keep, maybe which ones I can actually get rid of, because we all know right now, because we are like subscribing to like so many different tools, we don't even know like which ones we are subscribing to. Most of it just pulls from my email, because you can see I'm like making payments on my email. If it's like not in my email, I just tell it, and then it just keeps track of that. So I find that really useful. So that's the Claude artifacts. Any questions there? And then I'll try and wrap it up in a couple minutes.
Yeah, Jothi,
Yeah.
we had one client try to use Claude projects,
Mm-hmm.
and they found something strange that when they shared their chat or something that other people could see their artifacts, and I have to look more into that. Uvika or Padmini, have you heard about that? Like in
Yeah.
in Claude, when you share something that
Yeah.
that other they accidentally shared with someone, and then they saw all the stuff in there, and so they were telling their people, be careful, don't put anything. Have you heard anything like that?
Yeah, so it's true for both Claude and ChatGPT. If you share anything, it's actually public, right? You're not sharing it with that specific person. It's actually a public asset. So there was, I think it was a few months back, those assets were actually showing up in Google searches, and then they had to do something to turn off the indexing. But anytime you share anything from any of the LLMs, it's actually like you sharing a public link.
Right, so we have to be careful with artifacts. What if someone uploads a confidential document or something?
Yeah, so this artifact, like the way this is built, is like all within my local environment.
Okay, okay.
Right. It's like pulling data from all of the different tools, but it's all built, then the code for this is in my local environment.
Oh, okay, okay.
So if I come back in here.
And how would it be if we do it in temp chats, like temporary chats? Would it still?
Temporary chats are, yeah, temporary chats, yeah, they don't save your conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think if something that doesn't require memory, then maybe it should be put
Yeah.
in a
Just,
one
yeah.
of, yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, so artifacts. So it's basically just a folder within my local environment, and all of the, you can see all of the dashboards. Basically, it's just a HTML file, right? So everything lives within my local environment. So
Mm,
nothing's being shared with anyone.
okay.
Yeah, so that was artifacts. And then the last thing is how I built this presentation. Okay. So same thing. So if you go to Claude AI/design, let me do that. So I think this was just released maybe last week. But basically, yeah, if you go to claudeai.design, this is where you can build out presentations. You can actually even like prototype some websites here. But what I basically focused on was building out the slide deck. So what I did was I actually went, yeah, it's not opening that up yet. Okay, I think maybe because I'm sharing my screen is not coming up. But basically, if I click on here, it like brings up my organization, and then I'm able to build out a design system. So so what I did was I connected my GitHub repo to Claude Design. Obviously, you don't have to do this. This was probably like the most advanced setup. I did that because I wanted it to use all of my brand assets. But you can just start by just saying something like test, and then you can just start creating a PowerPoint presentation. You just describe what you want, you just chat with it, and then it just creates the whole presentation, right? So if I come back to my presentation here, you can basically say, see, I'm like just chatting with it, and then it creates the whole PowerPoint presentation here. So I think this is a sort of a competitor to Gamma. If it evolves a bit more, I think it might, I mean, I think it might be as good as Gamma. The only thing I found out, I mean, I find a big difference between Gamma and Claude Design is that it's not very good at creating images, right? Versus Gamma can actually create images, but then it's very structured in how you build those slides. It only has like certain design elements that you need to like fit your content into. But with this, just like a website, you can have it build anything, right? So there's like more flexibility in terms of what your presentation looks like, but there isn't really good integration with images yet. And so I believe this is in preview right now. And another thing to note is that it has limited usage, so you can't like, yeah. So there's a token limit on how much you can use the slide deck right now. So you just have to like keep an eye out for that. All right. So any questions there? I think I'm pretty much at the end of my presentation here.
When does the book come out?
Right. So the book comes out end of May. So basically, so the book is called Become 10x, Unlock Your Full Potential with AI, and I actually truly mean it. And so this book pretty much has like every single thing that I have done to build everything that I've built so far, just in less than a year, right? The podcast, the magazines, the masterclass, the content creation. So it has everything in there. So it talks about like the mindset, how to build it. It also has like for people that are new to AI that may not even understand what an LLM is. It starts with some foundations and takes you all the way to like maybe basic, technical aspects around agents. And then basically it also talks about like the mindset of it's not about just being able to use AI, but then sometimes there's also, you have a fear of visibility. There's a lot of mindset shifts that you need to go through. Like I've pretty much covered everything in this book here. So there's a little QR code at this end here. So that QR, if you scan that QR code, you'll actually get chapter 1 free. And what I also did was, because I covered how I did so how I built my website is also in my book. And so today, just for you guys, I've made that specific chapter available. If you wanted to, build out the website on your own, you can use this QR code. It'll take you to a landing page, and then you can download your chapter there. And I don't know. You're welcome. And then just one last slide here. I don't know if any of you guys live here in Michigan, but I also have a book premiere event coming up in June. So if anyone's in the neighborhood, you guys are welcome to come.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank
Oh, that's
you.
exciting. Oh my God. You are like something, like a powerhouse.
All thanks to AI, right?
No, but what you have done is like really amazing. And just one more question, like, I mean, how did it even occur to you, to like put this together?
Like you mean this presentation, the book,
No,
like
no,
what?
no, no, like the book, right? Like you literally poured like everything. And you're right. I mean, now when I think about it, a lot of people are so scared,
Yeah.
and you'll definitely have a lot of, aspiring entrepreneurs who are going to be like, all right, I'm ready to like, go.
Yeah, so the book was sort of like a bucket list thing. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna write a book. Maybe it'll be like 5, 6 chapters, but then once I start writing it, like
Yeah.
it just started pouring. So it's about 40 chapters right now.
Well, that's amazing. Jyoti, I had a question about the website. So if you
Mhm,
want to build, say, an e-commerce site, have
mhm,
you tried that where you have to like connect a payment gateway and all
mhm.
that? And if you've had experience with that, how has that worked out?
I have not tried that yet, but that is the next thing on my list. Like once my book
Okay.
comes out, I might have that
Okay.
available on my website but from what I sort of just looked at it, it should be fairly straightforward.
Okay. Thank you.
Even I have a question. So, like typically in websites, you also have like, subscribe to newsletters, you have, inquiry forms
Mm-hmm.
where you are capturing the data, of somebody who is inquiring, and then which goes to a backend database, and then,
Mm-hmm.
you set up automated email reply. Typically, I mean, things that you have in corporate sites. Have you tried those things as well?
Yeah, so if you actually click on one of my QR codes, it'll bring you to a landing page, and that landing page is built on Kit. So I can show you, I have a bunch of landing pages here, right? So for example, the free chapter, right? So it's basically just a landing page here. So all the backend is handled by Kit. It's actually very simple to set up the landing page. You just put in your email address and excuse me, your email address and name, and then you get a email sent to you, and then within that email will be like the little PDF that you can download. Is that what you were referring to?
Yeah, and this is also built by the Cloud Code.
No, so this is Kit is actually sort of a marketing product.
Okay.
Yeah, it's used for email marketing. Right now I'm just using their free tier. There's
Mm.
actually a lot of features that come just with the free tier, so I can build build a lot of landing pages. So if anything that I'm giving out for free, I just build the landing pages. It comes lands in here, and all of the emails and all of the backend, like the consent and everything is taken care of within Kit.
And you have integrated that with the with your website, your domain. You
I
have
haven't necessarily integrated it. So
okay.
basically, what you'll see is, say, for example, you come down here and it's
Mhm.
asking you to subscribe, right? So when you um, subscribe, it's basically just taking you to the Kit landing page.
Okay, okay,
Then Kit handles all of the backend.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Welcome.
Deba?
Hi, yeah. So I have in my website, there's a part where I write blogs, and one of the things I've been thinking of is having a subscription
Mm-hmm.
where if I have the email address of all my subscribers, then
Mm-hmm.
whenever I post on my blog, I
Mm-hmm.
if I can have an automation where whenever I post, the page is live, it
Mm-hmm.
goes through the email and goes to the subscribers. That email content I can write,
Mm-hmm.
but is there something that can help with this sort of a thing?
Yeah, so I use Kit for that as well, right? So let me see if I.
Does that connect with your website post
No,
that
it
whenever?
doesn't. It doesn't.
Hmm.
So I have a newsletter that's available on Kit. Let me see. Yeah, it's been a while since I've used this. Yeah, so I have like everything that you're talking about is actually built within Kit, right? So I didn't necessarily want to like replicate that.
Hmm.
So all of the newsletters that I write within Kit, It gets the email address, the name, and then it actually saves it within Kit's database. So I have a list of everything here, right? So if I want to send them any any follow-up emails, right, for my book, when I want to like send them something about my book, I own those email addresses, right? Versus on the other platforms that I own, I don't own the email addresses. Yeah. So I use Kit. I know like some people have their stuff on Substack, but I felt for my needs right now, Kit was pretty good enough for me.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
I think we're almost on time.
On time. That's awesome.
Yes. Oh my God. Wow. Jyoti, this was like a master class. I mean, cannot thank you enough for coming and sharing your wealth of knowledge and everything that you have done. And I'm sure like there are so many things that you do.
Yeah.
Guys, if you have not connected with Jyoti, highly recommend that you follow her. She posts amazing content on LinkedIn and she's out there. So highly recommend that you connect with her, follow her. And with that, thank you so much. Padmini, any closing thoughts that you want to share with the team?
Just be on the lookout for the upcoming events for May. We have some, yeah, we have a great speaker. We have a roundtable coming up. So yeah, stay tuned. And Jyoti, thank you so much.
Thank you for the
Like,
opportunity. I appreciate it.
yeah, my mind is blown 10x. So
That's good. There you go. 10x. Yes.
so, yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, we hope to have you again sometime.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. Have
Yeah,
a great evening.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
So
evening.
much. It was a great
Bye.
session.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.